It is a cold evening in London, 1890, and Charlie Chaplin walks alone. Today we discover Charlie Chaplin's life story, but his childhood was very hard. He had nothing, yet he dreamed big, and this is his story. Stay with me to see how he changed cinema forever world history. If you enjoy learning English through real stories like this, subscribe to Storyworld English for more. Charlie Chaplin was born in London, England, in 1889. His full name was Charles Spencer Chaplin. He came into a world full of noise and struggle. His parents were performers in music halls. They sang, they acted, they made people laugh. But their own lives were not easy at all. His father drank too much and stayed away. His mother, Hannah, tried to care for Charlie. She had a soft voice and kind eyes, but she was often sick and very tired. Money was always a problem for them. Some days there was no food at home. Some nights there was no fire for warmth. Charlie learned early that life could be cruel. He saw sadness before he saw joy. He felt hunger before he felt comfort. But something else lived inside him too. A quiet strength, a deep sensitivity. He watched people very carefully. He noticed how they walked and spoke. He noticed their smiles and their pain. These small observations would shape his future. These moments would become his greatest gift. He did not know it yet, but the world was already watching him. Charlie's childhood was full of movement and fear. He did not grow up in one safe home. He moved from place to place, often quickly. His mother tried her best to protect him, but her health became worse with time. Some days she could not even stand. Some days she could not even speak clearly. It was a grey afternoon in London, 1894. Charlie stood behind a stage curtain, watching. His mother was singing in front of a crowd. Suddenly, her voice broke. The audience laughed. The manager pushed little Charlie onto the stage. He was only 5 years old. The lights were bright. The people were loud. Charlie felt fear, real, deep fear. But then something changed inside him. He began to sing. Then he made a joke. The crowd stopped laughing at his mother. They started laughing with him. That night, something new was born. Not just a performer, something deeper. But life at home did not get easier. His mother's illness grew worse and worse. Soon she was taken to a hospital. Charlie and his brother, Sidney, were alone. They went to a workhouse. It was cold. It was strict. They had no family. They had no safety. But they had each other. Life in the workhouse was hard and quiet. There was no laughter. There was no warmth. But inside Charlie, something refused to die. He still watched people very closely. He studied how they walked and moved. He saw sadness in their faces. He saw humor hidden inside pain. When he left the workhouse, he searched for work. He was still very young but very determined. He joined a small group of performers. It was a cold evening in London, 1903. Charlie stood behind the stage again, but this time he was not afraid. He performed in small plays and comedy shows. He learned timing, when to move, when to pause. He learned silence can be powerful. Slowly, people began to notice him. Not because he was loud, but because he was different. He could make people laugh without speaking much. He could show deep emotion with simple movement. He had a gift, a rare and quiet gift. He turned pain into humor. He turned silence into meaning. He turned struggle into art. And this gift would soon change everything. Charlie was growing as a performer, but the world around him was not kind. The theater world was very competitive and harsh. Many actors wanted the same roles. Many failed. Many disappeared quickly. Charlie had no strong support behind him. He had no rich family, no powerful friends. He only had his talent and his will. It was a bright morning in London, 1908. Charlie joined a famous comedy group. It was called the Fred Carnot Company. This group traveled across cities and countries. They performed fast, physical comedy on stage. Charlie learned discipline. He learned control, but the pressure was always there. If you failed once, you could lose everything. Charlie worked harder than everyone else. He watched, practiced, repeated every movement. He needed success. He needed money. He needed stability. Then a new opportunity appeared far away. America, a new land, a new chance. But it was also a great risk. He did not know the culture. He did not know the people. One wrong step could end his career. Still, Charlie made a choice. He would leave everything behind and step into the unknown. America was not what Charlie expected. It was loud, fast, full of strangers. Everything felt new and confusing. It was a grey afternoon in California, 1913. Charlie stood on a film set for the first time. The camera looked cold and silent. This was not the stage. There was no live audience. No laughter, only a machine watching every movement. Charlie tried to act the same way. Big gestures, fast movements, loud expressions. But something felt wrong. The director was not happy. He stopped Charlie again and again. "Too much," he said. "Too much." Charlie felt lost, deeply lost. His old skills did not work here. His confidence began to break. Other actors watched him quietly. Some smiled, some whispered behind him. Was this the end already? He had crossed an ocean for this chance. He had left his past behind. And now he was failing. He had no clear place in this new world, no strong voice, no direction. He felt small again, like the boy before, alone, uncertain, almost invisible. For a moment, everything went dark inside him. Maybe he did not belong here. Maybe he was not enough. Section complete. Type. Continue to receive the next section. The turning point. 329 words. It was a bright afternoon in California, 1914. The studio was busy and full of noise. Actors moved quickly. Cameras waited silently. Charlie stood near a costume room door. He felt unsure. He felt invisible again. The director needed something new that day. "A funny character," he said, "something different." Charlie walked slowly into the costume room. Rows of clothes surrounded him on every side. Old shoes, tight jackets, wide pants, small hats. He looked at each piece very carefully. Not fast, not rushed, slow and thoughtful. Then something strange happened. He picked up large, loose pants. Then a tight, short jacket. Then very big shoes. Too big. Then a small black hat. He added a thin walking stick and a small mustache above his lip. He looked in the mirror and paused. This man looked poor, but also proud. Funny, but also sad. Charlie took a deep breath. He walked out slowly, step by step, careful and soft. Then suddenly he slipped, but he did not fall. He turned the slip into a dance. The room went quiet. Then someone laughed, then another, then many. Charlie kept moving, small steps, big emotions. He said nothing, but everyone understood him. In that moment, something was born, not just a character, a symbol, a man with nothing, but still full of dignity, a man who struggles, but never stops trying. Charlie had found his true voice, without words, without fear, and the world would never forget this man. After that day, everything began to change. People started to notice Charlie Chaplin, not slowly, not quietly, very quickly. The small character became very popular. People called him the Little Tramp, a poor man with a strong spirit. It was a warm evening in California, 1915. Crowds gathered outside small cinemas. They waited to see his new films. Inside, people laughed together, but they also felt something deeper. They saw their own struggles in him. Charlie worked day and night. He wrote, directed, and acted himself. He controlled every small detail. He wanted perfection. He wanted meaning. He wanted truth. Each film became better than the last. Each story touched more hearts around the world. Soon his face was everywhere, Posters, newspapers, theatre walls. He became one of the most famous men alive. But fame did not change his core. He still remembered hunger and cold nights. He used humor to speak about real pain. He used silence to speak about real life. The little tramp was not just funny. He was human, deeply human, and people everywhere felt that truth. Charlie was no longer invisible. He had found his place in the world. It was a tense evening in America, 1940. The world was in great danger. A terrible war was rising across many countries. A powerful leader was spreading fear and hate. His name was Adolf Hitler. Many people were afraid to speak against him, but Charlie made a bold decision. He created a film called The Great Dictator. In this film, he played two roles. One was a simple barber, the other was a cruel dictator. People were surprised. Charlie always made silent films before. But now he would speak. It was a huge risk. Some warned him to stop. They said, "This is too dangerous." But Charlie did not stop. In the final scene, he stood alone. No costume tricks, no funny walking. Just a man speaking from the heart. His voice was calm but strong. He spoke about kindness and human dignity. He spoke against hate and violence. The room was silent. People listened carefully, not as viewers but as humans. His words traveled across the world. They reached people in fear and pain. He said what others were afraid to say. In that moment, Charlie was more than a comedian. He was a voice, a brave voice, but not everyone agreed with him. Some people became angry. Still, Charlie stood firm. He had faced hunger. He had faced silence. He had faced fear. Now he faced the world, and he chose truth. Success did not protect Charlie from pain. Fame brought light, but also deep shadows. After the war, the world began to change. People became more suspicious and afraid. In America, many feared hidden enemies. Charlie was different. He spoke freely. He shared ideas about peace and fairness. But some people did not trust him. It was a quiet night in America, 1952. Charlie was traveling on a ship to Europe. He planned to return soon, but something unexpected happened. The government made a sudden decision. They did not allow him to come back. His home was closed to him. Charlie felt shocked, deeply hurt. He had given so much to this country. Now he was pushed away from it. He lost his place in America. He lost his connection to Hollywood. It felt like starting again from nothing. But Charlie did not break. He moved to Switzerland with his family. There, life became slower and quieter. He made fewer films, but he kept thinking. He kept creating in his own way. Loss changed him. Pain shaped him. Distance taught him. He was no longer the young man chasing success. He became something deeper, a man who had seen both love and rejection, and still chose to continue. Charlie Chaplin's story did not end in silence. His films continued to live across the world. People still watched him, still laughed, still felt. It was a bright morning in Switzerland, 1972. Charlie received a very special award. It was called an honorary Oscar. He returned to America for a short visit. The audience stood up and clapped for many minutes. Some people cried while watching him. He was older now. His steps were slower, but his presence was still powerful. Charlie did not need many words. His life had already spoken for him. He changed the way cinema tells stories. He showed that silence can carry meaning. He showed that pain can become art. His character, the little tramp, is still remembered. A small man, big heart, endless hope. Even today, his films are watched everywhere. From small homes to big cities, people see themselves in his struggles. People see hope in his journey. Charlie Chaplin left more than films. He left a feeling, a human connection, and that connection still lives today. Charlie Chaplin was not perfect. He had many personal struggles. In relationships, he often caused pain. He married several times. Some marriages failed quickly. Some people said he was difficult to live with. He also faced public criticism in later years. Some accused him of being too political. Some did not agree with his choices. Maybe this is true. Maybe he made mistakes in private life. But he also lived under constant pressure. Fame, fear, and expectations surrounded him always. Nobody is perfect. Charlie was human, very human. He carried childhood pain into adulthood. He carried loss into success. Yet he still created beauty for the world. He still made people laugh through their sadness. This mix of light and shadow makes him real. Not a perfect hero, but a real man. And that truth is what makes his story powerful, because greatness and weakness often live together. Charlie Chaplin spoke without words. He used movement, silence, and emotion. He connected people from every country. You are doing something similar today. You are learning English step by step. You are building a new way to connect. Sometimes it feels difficult. Some words feel strange or slow. Some days feel like no progress. Charlie also started with nothing strong, no power, no comfort, no safety. But he kept learning through observation. He kept understanding people deeply. You are doing the same now. Every story you hear builds understanding. Every sentence you follow is progress. You are not just learning language. You are building confidence inside yourself. Like Charlie, your voice will grow, slowly, quietly, powerfully, and one day you will express yourself freely. If this story touched you, please like this video and subscribe to Storyworld English for more. Leave a comment below. Tell me which part of Charlie Chaplin's story moved you the most. He turned silence into meaning. So can you.